It go crazy. It go crazy. It go crazy. Go crazy. Go crazy. Go crazy. All the way from the old to LA. Go crazy like a dum-dum. East side homeboy, where I come from. Dance on the floor till you go numb. No fighting, no hating, no red rum. This is OOO City. All the way to the bay, hit the bass, feel me. Catch a case cause it's beating up your Chevy. Get you moving side to side, getting all sweaty. Make it work it out. Turn the volume up loud. This a draw crowd, make it all shout. Go crazy. All the way from the O to LA. Hit play on the track and I'm ready. Like a quarterback, Tom Brady. Catch it all in the frenzy. Go crazy. Go crazy. Go crazy. All the way from the O to LA. Go crazy. Go crazy. Go crazy. All the way from the O to LA. Go crazy. Go all the way from the O to LA. Go crazy. Go crazy. Go crazy. All the way from the O to
Hey. What's going on, family? It is Tuesday. It is 8:02, and it is time for another show. We are so glad that you decided to slide on in here and hang out with us for a few minutes, chop it up about a couple of things out here in these internet streets and in our community. So, yeah, we are so glad that you have decided to slide on in and hang out with us. Thank you, sis. Appreciate you. Do what I can. But if you are new around here, the way that we get acquainted at the top of the show is for you to go ahead and say what's up, like our good sister Stephanie has done. And Mr. I'm assuming, Mr. I'm sorry if I'm wrong, but we got Polycap Zeddy in the house saying what's up. But also, we would like very much if you would drop your city and state in the comment section for us, please. We like to know just how far and wide this here show is reaching on a week-to-week basis, and that lets us know, helps us out a little bit. It also helps you get acquainted with your scoop fam for the evening. Okay, so go ahead and drop that what's up and where you are tuning in from. And while you're down there, if you would please hit that share button so your people, your mama and them, your cousins and them, all your folks know where you will be hanging for the next little bit of time, and invite them to join us, okay? Because the more the merrier. If they your people, I'm pretty sure they could become our people. So invite them on into the room, okay? After you do that, honey, sit back, relax, chill, okay? Get ready to enjoy the show. Hey sis, what's up? Okay, see. If you happen to have to duck out this evening, or if you want to catch up on the show, if you like it, okay, you think you might like it, you want to stick around and get real comfortable, we invite you to watch our replays, and we post those every week on YouTube, Instagram, and right here on Facebook. And you say, what, how I follow? What do I do? What's the deets? Here are the deets, okay? You can follow us on YouTube at The Scoop Show, on Facebook at Real Scoop Show, and on Instagram at The Scoop Radio Show, okay? We post topics, we post pictures, we post conversations, we get it in, okay? If you want to know where all the deep thinkers, all the jokes, all the funnies are happening, you want to be locked and loaded in one of these spots, okay? Because that's where it goes down. I think that's it. How you doing, bro?
I'm good.
You doing good. You doing good. You got some. Do I get to because I'm a zhuzh it up. I'm gonna put all the extra sauce on it.
Go ahead.
Y'all, come on in. Come. Listen, turn it up. Turn the volume up. Last week, our panda, our Winnie Win has popped the question to my good sis, my beautiful boo thing, my girl. Y'all know you have tuned in to any of the clubhouses. If you have seen any of the banter in the comment section, y'all know this is my girl. Okay, she can sit with me anytime, but she is about to be my sister, like in real life. Okay, because he popped the question and she said yes. Yay! When and Jamie are engaged, he gonna be a husband. Panda gonna be a husband. Yeah. Congratulations, bro. Okay, I'm done. For now.
No, thank you very much.
Y'all.
Thank you, everybody in the comments. I appreciate you. Yeah, absolutely. It's yeah, long.
Yeah, we gonna kick it so hard. We gonna show out. I can't wait. I sent Jamie the most ridiculous voice memo and like 5 gifts. Like I was so excited. Oh my goodness. It was, yeah. I can't wait. I'm so excited. So excited.
Thank you, Michelle. I appreciate you. Thank you, Stephanie. I still do owe you a call back. It's been busy, but I promise you I will call you back. Yes, it is. Yeah, it's time. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's time. We got things to do, and yeah, I mean, this has been a very. I don't even know how to you know. If you don't know how to describe it. You don't know how to describe it, you know. So, but yeah, this is it. She's the one. And I tell her I told her the day I knew from the first after like the first couple of conversations. I'm like, yeah, that's it. Mm-hmm. This is it. So This is it.
We've had many conversations.
Yeah, like this is it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but as usual, you know, I'm a man, so that means I'm a certain kind of man. So, you know, it's like I need to have things in order and all this and that, and you know, so this is it. We's ready. We's ready. We is ready to do this. So I'm ready and I'm happy. I told her I could not have picked a better partner. From the inside out, the most amazing woman I've ever met. So
and y'all wonder, because I know you wondered. I will say, from me to you, as a woman, you have been asking all of the right questions. You have been wondering and concerned about all of the right things as far as readiness and rightness and, you know, all of those things. And I am, you know, I would be very, very honest with you if I didn't feel all of this. And I say that for her and for you, because I know you both deserve exactly the energy that is
absolutely
deserved for this next phase of your life. So I am so excited for all of this. I've never heard you say Stephanie, but for them giggles, I don't even know what to do with that.
Maybe at the reception. Yeah, oh man, yeah. I for me, there has never been a relationship where it has been easier to talk about the stuff that is not supposed to be easy to talk about. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, I'm big on being able to fully be myself and, you know, all the time. Like I don't have to ever not be me with her. So, and I appreciate that. And that's whether that's, you know, the pastor, the not, you know, any parts of me are accepted, are loved, are welcomed. And she challenges me. But it's never done in a way that's I can't tell that is about being cared for. So yeah, so I appreciate it. I was getting married. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Okay, we got to move on because we can sit right here all night. Like, what's next? I can just sit here and grin. Like,
yeah. Okay. All right. Let's go. So you good though? But you're good.
I am. Last week, My dad was in town. My dad and my stepmom were in town, and we had a really good time. Done a lot of hanging out at my brother's house. We took the kids to Main Event. We saw Cat Williams. Just a good time. So I hadn't seen my dad since before COVID. So long overdue visit, much enjoyed. And then today, my dad, you all know and love, Mr. Keith Turner, that's always in the comments. It's his birthday tonight, so we're sending super love to my dad. And they are traveling. Actually, they are big kicking it. So yeah, shout out to them.
That's what's
as
up.
they relax and things.
They deserve it. They deserve it.
Yeah,
absolutely. Thank you, Kelly. We were laughing the other day about like when I put the post up. We're laughing about who gets the most comments.
Yeah. It I don't know. Did she outshine you? No?
It was like 300 to 900. It was bad. I was like, okay, I guess I better.
Oh.
700 comments. I'm like,
you'll never like all of those. You just need to comment every once in a while. Thanks, y'all.
Just
Thanks,
put up
y'all.
one big response. You all look wonderful.
For everything.
Yeah. So
thank you guys.
So yeah. All right. Happy birthday. Thank you. Yes, absolutely. Happy birthday, Mr. Turner. Appreciate you, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Man. So I will say this, and I'm gonna jump. I find myself appreciating older men a lot more these days. Mm-hmm. Like there was, like I'd be like, just tell me more. Tell me more. Give me more. Like just the wisdom of life, and like so I find myself like just drawn to them more in this season of my life. And I appreciate any older, especially older men, period, but any older Black man who is willing to sit down and kind of give me some, some stuff. I just be like, tell me more.
Yeah.
Listen. So, yeah.
Definitely chop it up with you, that's for sure.
That too. I do. All right, you ready to jump into these hot topics?
Let's do it.
All right, so here we go. So this first one is again, I saw on somebody's page. I just had to know because I know there's a story behind this usually for everybody. So I was just interested and intrigued about this. And so the first question is, the first, how did y'all parents find out that you were having sex? How did your parents find out y'all was having sex? So the questions that I have for this is this, but the thing I'm interested in is I wondered what did them like. Did you like the way they found out? Did you not like it? How did that affect your relationship? And then like I thought about was there something you wish they would have done different? Like certain to handle the conversation different, whatever, something. And then because I, again, my deep thinking, like, does it affect how you, as if you're a parent, have this conversation with your children? So, yeah, those are my.
Everyone can forward their copays to Global Drive at PayPal.com. Damn, like, get in there. Jeez. Okay, so how did my parents find out I was having sex? Well, I was 4 months pregnant with Adrian.
Okay.
That is when I found out that I was pregnant. So therefore, that's when they found out that I was having sex.
Okay.
I was 18 at the time. That was, and the second time I'd ever had sex, I got pregnant. So,
yeah.
Womp womp. Would I have preferred they found out a different way? Hell yeah. Because that had so much wrapped in it. That already being pregnant was already a thing. So doing the 1-2 punch for parents was a lot. And then that was a lot for me to have to reveal all at one time and deal with at the same time. It absolutely changed our relationship. The gravity of being pregnant was definitely heavier than the fact that I was having sex. I waited until like I was a virgin until I was 18 years old. So like that was, I was not tripping even if they were tripping at that point, considering all of the opportunities, considering my environment and all of that I would have had, and the fact that it wasn't even hard for me. I was fine with it. I knew exactly what I was doing. I wasn't pressured, none of that. Like that was what I wanted. And I ended up marrying the person that I ended up, so it wasn't in the correct order, but I still had no shame in that. So even if they wanted to be upset, honestly, they just would have had to be mad.
Yeah.
But the pregnancy part of it had a lot of other stuff that did change our relationships for a good little while. It took until I was about 25, 26 or so before that relationship started to really get honest and start to mend. It was a lot, but it was a lot that happened within those times on both sides that caused that. Like I own, everybody, I own my part of that and, the role that I played in it, but like there was still a lot that happened that did affect us. How I do it with my kids, I'm very sex positive, period. Like I'm very much about take care of your body, take care of yourself, know what you're doing. My kids understand completely what consent means and what consent of yourself and then consent to someone else means. So the way we address, the way we address sex is more about protection and respect and safe, safety, those types of things. But they also know that I think that there's a certain time that a person is mature enough to honestly make those decisions. So we also cover those things. But I'm not into the whole good girls do this, yada yada. Like
no new shoes versus old shoes.
I don't play them games because I know that at the end of the day, like that really doesn't matter. So I don't set my kids up for that. And I have boys and girls. So I have a son and two daughters. I can't say boys plural, but I have young men in my life and young women in my life that listen to me in that specific area. So I don't really try to play into double standards. I make sure that my children are aware of them as far as how they need to maneuver within society or what they need to be prepared to encounter in society. But I also create equity in my home for opportunity and discipline and role. How we gonna do this is I try and keep it very, very consistent in my home.
Okay. So my parents found out at different times.
Okay.
My father found out when he found out when I was in high school, my junior senior year in high school.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't believe it until freshman, sophomore year in college.
Okay.
So one of his friends told him, like, this was going on. He's like, nah, not my son. Nah.
Okay.
And then he asked me. And so he always had this saying that would say, anytime when you do this is between you and this woman and you and this young lady. So this is not something you need to be talking about. Like, men don't share this with other people. And so when he asked me, I said, I'll never lie to you. I won't lie to you. But you told me that if I was, this between me and her, keep it that way.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Fast forward a couple of years later, my sister tells him some stuff that I had done that she had caught me doing. And so that's how he was like,
it was confirmed.
So you was everybody you were and you weren't. So yeah. My mother found out much later because I'm Jesus.
Then you in college? She found out much later after.
My mother found out like probably like post college when I'm daggone near married. That because
She
in her,
didn't know you went to Langston, right?
yeah, but she, my mother,
Okay.
again,
Oh,
mothers and sons,
you're right. You're right. You're
it
right.
was the
You're
same level of, and so my
right.
sister once again
Oh, Wendy.
told her,
Mm.
and she was, and my mother was like, "Not my son. No, I taught you better. I told you to wait. I taught you to wait to
Oh.
marry. And why not my?" And my sister was like, "Mom, your son's a hoe."
We're gonna have an intervention, Mom.
Your son is a
Sit down, have a seat.
hoe. So that's how my mom found out.
Your
Uh,
son's a whole heathen out here, Mom. He's a whole heathen.
yeah, that's what she said. That's what my sister told her. So Wendy got me told. Um, but I think the change, like with my mother, it really was. I think it was just more so from her perspective, the innocence was gone. That whole,
No, I get it. I was being funny
yeah,
about them. Did you know you're still
yeah,
it's a long time. You know what I mean? Even after through college,
it's a long time, especially considering how early I actually started.
yeah,
So I'm
true.
like, you found that at 22.
Yeah.
I openly talk about this. Like I started having sex at 13, 14. Like, so that's a lot. Yeah. So it's a long time to not know. But it was, yeah. So what I think also, but I think what it did was it opened up another level of conversation for us because now it's for me and her. Of course, there was the spiritual part of it, but it was also like, okay, you're an adult now. I have to
Right.
move into this kind of thinking. So that was good. With my dad, we had always had those conversations. It was, but they were usually very more on the side. Like he would have conversations about like respect women, all that kind of stuff. But he would say stuff like, if you get a girl pregnant, them shoes you got on your feet, yeah, you're gonna be wearing them same shoes in 18
Yeah.
because I'm gonna take care of my grandchild, but I'm not taking care of you no more. So if you want some more shoes, don't get a girl pregnant. I'm like, okay, like those are the kind of stuff that we would talk about. So having, again, now that he knows this is what's happening, again, conversations shift. Now it becomes being responsible, what this looks like.
Right. Right.
What this looks like, what this does to you, how this, my mother handled all the churchy stuff. So it's like, we didn't really have that. It was just, what is it about?
Be easy on my baby, sis.
Yeah. But it was just that kind of stuff that made it completely like different now. So now we got to have these, like, again, not so much that it sunk in, but it was like, wow, there's a difference in how, like, this is normal.
There's a different respect that's happening between the two of you, also.
Yeah, and there's just like a listen. Okay, if you're going to step into this, you have to be responsible, and you're really not responsible enough to handle this. But obviously, this is something you're going to do. So let me give you some things to think through, so you can know how what this decision that you're making could potentially lead to, and what this is doing to her. So like girls and boys are not are not typically the same. So when you have this, like, this is what it usually means for them. This is what it means for you. And like, you got to be aware of that, even if so there was a level of responsibility that was put on me too. So that I don't know if I, again, listened right away, but
you had the conversations. You were there for the conversation.
I can't blame him. I can't. Yeah.
Stephanie's comment was similar to mine, except for she said that she wished that she asked her parents. She attempted to have the conversation with them and asked for birth control, and they shut down the convo. And it changed things. She said it definitely changes how she parents now. She talks to her daughters about everything. And I think that's probably a lot of folk stories, especially in our community, as far as the requesting of birth control, condoms, any of those things, especially when your daughters come to you. It's for, and that's just the thing in our community. When the boys ask for condoms, it's almost like a high five. Hi, it's a whole thing to go take them to the spot to get the condoms between the men in their life and them. But for girls, oh no, like it's a whole thing when she takes ownership and says, "Hey, I want this because just in case."
Yeah.
Yep.
So. I remember when my goddaughter and I had the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And that conversation was a lot about, respecting your body, like it was a mature conversation. It was super uncomfortable, but because it's my baby, like it's my baby, it's not a baby to blow up, but it's like, no, she's making adult choices, so I have to have this conversation with her. And it was the same thing. It was like, okay, so now that once we've gone through that, now let's talk about, contraception and all that. And it was a really good conversation, but I think, like I said, the way my parents handled it did definitely shape that, because I felt like they were a lot of times more reactive in terms of talking about the more mature parts of the conversation. Again, we talked about kids, we talked about church, what the Bible says. That's fine. I'm not negating that or saying that was bad, but to think through, I wonder if I had conversations where I was forced to think through this decision before, would I have made a difference? Maybe not. Mm-hmm. Maybe not, because when you're that age and your hormones are raised,
you gotta do what you're gonna do. Yeah.
It's like having all of that information up front so you can make an informed decision as best as you can at that age.
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought I did appreciate like the idea of not being shamed for it.
Yeah.
I love that part of, like, I never felt shamed. Like, if anything, I got made fun of. Like, my dad's a trip.
Yes, your dad is a trip.
My dad's a trip. He would say stuff. I'm like, "Oh, you smelling yourself now because you got some hair on your nuts." I'm like, "What are you doing?"
Total dad stuff. Total dad stuff.
But he would say it in public, you'd be like,
yeah,
my dad just didn't have it. Like, but he's hilarious.
No, girls don't hear about them having sex until their mamas is cussing them out because they feel like they saying stuff they ain't got no business. That's when we get the you smelling yourself, you feeling yourself. That little boys got that, that's when girls get those. We don't get jokes. We get quips. We get red. We don't get jokes. We get red about what we ain't gonna do just because we think we cute out here in these streets. That's how it happens with daughters.
Yeah. Now I think with the boys, it'll probably definitely be.
Mm-hmm.
Now I will say the other part, the other part of this is like, obviously Trey my ex-wife is a nurse, so those conversations have already.
Trey says what with his nurse?
His mom, my ex-wife's Kendra's a nurse.
Oh.
So like, he's already coming up to me, like giving the technical terms of stuff, and I'm like,
because that's what you're supposed to teach them. That's what you teach your kids. Yeah,
like,
we weren't taught those all the time, but it's definitely what should be. Yeah,
right. And so I'm like, oh, these conversations are too early. Like, but. And then I'm having them like, I'm not, we're not talking about wee-wees and no, we're talking about. I was like, oh, we're going to talk about this in the actual terms. Okay, let's go, 6-year-olds. Have this. Okay,
let's do it.
That's been different too, but again, I think with both of them, it'll be similar. Respect, understanding what you're doing. Like, and we've started having some of those, not in a direct way, but even talking about like, listen, I know y'all playing on the playground, but if she say stop, stop. Like, you don't tell if a young lady is telling you, a person period, but especially if a young lady is telling you not to put your hands on her or to stop or to back up, then you need to honor that and respect that at any point. Okay. Okay. So
and see, that makes it so when as the conversation gets more layered, as it matures, those concepts won't be foreign and it won't be taboo. It's
Right.
not going to be weird because you've already understood the concept. It's been in since playground days. So when it gets to get naked, the just because your hormones are moving, that foundation is there because this isn't new information. It's not, oh, now you can't hit her to show her that you like her no more. You know what I mean? Oh, now I can't do that. No, like you should have never been doing that. At 6 years old is when you explain that to you know,
Yeah.
young men especially, because that's generally how that works. But
And
also to the little girls, to let them know that's not what liking looks like.
right.
You know, so
Yeah, and I, I'm very committed to it because to your point, the conversation is usually not fair. So like we as young boys have to do a better job of training young boys in that area. So, all right,
kudos to you, sir.
Medina says I don't think my dad knew till I was married. I understand. I definitely understand.
And their daughters.
Listen, I don't want to know nothing about what my sister doing. I don't want to know nothing. And my sister's 40. I don't want to I don't want to know that. Like, yeah. All right. So this next one, I ain't gonna even say the name, but I heard this topic and I had to ask the question because it threw me. So what I heard on the segment of a podcast that talking about the Cosby Show that Cliff Huxtable was a beta man who had a beta job being a midwife. He worked from home. He was a stay-at-home dad, while Claire Huxtable was a high-powered attorney and then said she was the original feminist and dominated Cliff. She ran the home. He didn't. She was the one in charge. She was a feminist. He was a beta male. She walked all over him. And I was like, I didn't interpret the Cosby Show like the Huxtable family. That was not how I interpreted that marriage. And so I posted this question to ask, like, is that how you saw how other people saw that family dynamic? So yeah. So that's what it says. I heard the segment where Cliff was a beta male who had a beta job as a midwife, stay-at-home dad, while Claire Huxtable was the original feminist and dominated Cliff.
No. That's not what I remember. That's not what I remember. Just know that they were a family. I honestly didn't know that he worked from home. Did he work from home?
He had an office in the basement. Yeah, he had an office in the basement.
So like he saw patients from the basement?
Yeah, he saw patients from the basement.
I didn't know that. I didn't realize that. I always just assumed we caught him after work. Like, or you know what I mean? Like I didn't realize that he worked in the basement. But even still, that's not a stay-at-home dad. He worked from the basement. So like he's still working. His office is just at home. But no, even with that being said, that's not how I would have interpreted them, even with that, because I don't see Claire as a feminist domineering over, like running him. That's not how Claire was a lot. Hey, unless you saying that most black mamas, were this feminist and domineering. Like I don't think, because she reminded me a lot of my mama. My mama was involved with the kids. She got involved. They were involved parents. Both of them were involved. They parented together. They made decisions together. They were unified. Like the kids were good kids. They did regular kid stuff. They messed up like regular kids do, and they fixed it as a fit like that. This was a reach. I'll keep this one cute and short. This was a reach for me. And, I don't see that. That's not what I got from him.
I mean, first of all, he wasn't a midwife. Let's start there.
I thought he was a doctor. Where do we get midwife?
Clearly an OBGYN. Let's just start there. Okay. I saw a very balanced relationship. I saw that there were times where Claire let him, like where Claire had a strong opinion about something and she let it be known.
Mm-hmm.
And they worked worked through it. I saw times where he had very strong opinions about things and they worked through it. I saw them both participating in child raising. I saw him being a present father to his girls and his boys, to the boys. I saw, to me, it was, I'm not gonna say it was perfect, but it was a very, in my opinion, healthy home.
Mm-hmm. It was close to as ideal as one could hope for a television show of a Black family.
Yes, you had your issues. You had from, like you said, the normal kid stuff to Theo finding out he has learning disability to the older ones, the college stuff, and then going to Princeton and supposed to become a doctor, and not like, and all of the nuances that come with being a parent trying to navigate that. You saw relationships with the grandparent, like. I just
the neighbors, the friends, Bud, like like how the village was created, like all of that. Like
this to me, it was healthy. I think so. What I surmised was, anytime a man is not seen as or is not responding in a way that is hyper aggressive or is dominating, that people fear him, like. It seems like it's portrayed as he is not respected, and I think that culturally, that's a problem, because I think it feeds into this idea that that respect is something that it has to be forced, or submission is something that has to be forced, and that women shouldn't be able, like, there's a certain way as a woman you supposed to, like. No, again, I never saw her disrespectful to, like, what I would consider disrespect. I saw her again get angry. I saw her disagree. I saw her get indignant, but disrespectful. Like, let the record show. Like, that was my, like, but a beta man?
Yeah. No. Yeah. And it's your last point is one that I would be interested to see more data on, as far as the history of Black shows with the family theme and the roles that the men and women played in the household. Because I think of Fresh Prince, Family Matters, what is it? Good Times. What's the one with George and Weezy? Right. That one. We all know what we're talking about. Shows like those are iconic shows that we consider our cornerstones, and we play on, look at the differences in those fathers. Honestly, just in thinking of that, from what I recall of those characters, I would say that Cliff was the one that was the most willing, and in alignment with what you just said, as far as willing to work with the wife in the parenting of the children, that did not have that aggressive or the more outwardly facing masculine personality, because even like Uncle Phil was sweet to his wife, but she was also, did she work? Like, I don't remember Aunt Viv working. She was stay at home. She used to work, but she stayed at home for the most part, right? Aunt Viv didn't go to work.
I thought she's a professor.
I don't remember. Was that dark skin Viv or light skin Aunt Viv? I don't remember light skin Aunt Viv going to work.
Well, I think dark skin did. Yeah.
See? But I mean, like, even those shifts in the fact, like, but even still, his character, we keep it in focus. His character was still one that was considered a more traditional masculine man, and so on and so forth throughout. Like, oh boy was a cop in Family Matters, and he had a very different energy in the home than what Cliff brought to the home. So I do wonder if that does leave him. Good Times, I think that.
No, Good Times for him.
Didn't get it. Yeah. But you still didn't see that energy within him that you have with those other men. So we don't dissect those characters the same way. Those are considered strong Black fathers in our television shows. And, now we have this question.
Yeah. It also made me think, like, is this part of the problem? Like, is the expectation of, are we still struggling with, like, what we, like, how we view is having an opinion viewed as being a feminist? Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, okay, so she has an opinion. That's not making her feminist. Like, I never once heard her, like, I mean, with the exception of remembering, like, that she was a number one. Like, there were several times it's like, no. Like, the time she went off on Elvin about when he was like, yeah, Dr. Huxtable needs to tell you what to do. And she's like, oh yeah. He doesn't tell me what to do. Like that. And I remember, like, it was something at work, like, where she was fighting for, like, equal pay at work. If that makes her a feminist, to me, that says she wants equality. Like, I don't.
Yeah. I think, but you know how I feel about feminism and our whole conversation about that too. We've twisted that to be a lot of different things that I don't think it is either.
Exactly.
To your question and to your point, yes, a woman with an opinion is essentially a feminist.
Nah, all right. Shanae says, I don't understand why our families always have to be dissected. Full House was about a single dad, and it was never bashed.
A single dad with a house full of men helping to raise a house full of girls, mind you.
Yeah.
Uncle Jesse, Uncle Joey, Daddy, and then all of the other people that Uncle Jesse and Uncle Joey decided to date, procreate, and move into the full ass house. So, like, yeah, there were lots of questions to be had about the Full House scenario also.
Of course.
Awesome.
I mean, but the thing is, like, we're doing it to ourselves. Like, these aren't
right. We're the ones asking these
questions our own families. Like, to Shanae's point, like, why don't you ask about, you know? And I get, you know, I do also understand that a lot of times the reason, like, with the Cosbys, this is because, like, this is the epitome of what we say what family's supposed to look like. So of course, but still, it's like.
And then when we get the shows with just the mom with the kids, then why we got so many single parent shows? Right. Like, this is why we got so many single mama shows with so many single parent shows. Like, you really,
you
can't.
Yep. All right.
Let us live. Let us live us in all of the different ways that we live, because there are full families, there are, you know, single parent families. There's all of that.
Absolutely.
Like with every other
culture.
Family, right.
Right. All right, ladies, would you date a man who wanted to be abstinent from sex?
For how long?
Until marriage? I don't know.
I'm not signing up for that.
No. So,
and I'm not even one who's like team sex you up, sex you down ASAPly. Like, that ain't even my groove. But like, don't do that.
You're not waiting.
No.
First of all, I already knew the answer to this question. I was like 75% of the people going, I'm not doing that. I thought it was funny that, like, some of the people who I thought would be like, absolutely, yes, were like, no. I was like, I didn't expect that from you. Okay. Like, there was.
To me, abstinence is for when you are not dating. Abstinence is something that you tell that is a thing that you put on self. Once you begin dating, you set boundaries for when you feel you're going to become comfortable with having sex. Mm-hmm. But I think after this is just me. But you know, I think after a certain point, after you've had sex, after you've, you know, done what you're doing, you know, like, let's not play these games. We can set boundaries. We can say, I want to make sure that we are exclusive, that, you know, we are both healthy, that we are going to we are both committed and planning to do something with this before I share that part of me. I have not earned that from you, and vice versa, until we get to a certain point, and we'll talk about it. We'll go from there. But to just set out into a relationship already saying what I'm not gonna do, I don't see the point in that, because grown folks who have had sex before are eventually going to want to have sex. Now, just because we're dating does not mean I'm going to have sex with you, which is why boundaries must be put in place. I think people assume automatically when dating, you must be sexting. That's not true. You
Absolutely.
set those boundaries, you set that expectation of when you're going to ideally feel comfortable with that and go forth and do those things. But no,
Mhm.
not at my big grown age. I'm gonna sit here and be like, I'm abstinent. Well, then you should be single. Like you should be by yourself if you have. Don't do that. Don't play with me like that. Like I'm just not gonna do that. Like,
So here's the initial point where this question came from was I was talking to a young lady who told me that she's abstinent, she's abstaining, and she was like, and I don't understand, basically saying why she didn't have why she was struggling with dating, and I was like, because you're abstinent.
mm-hmm.
And she's like, what do you mean? I said, look, I just wanted to be honest with you, like even Christian, like good, wholesome, you know what I mean, like Christian dudes are not doing that. Like a lot of them aren't signing up for that. So I was saying this person, like, I'm not saying don't do it, you know, that or not to be abstinent or anything. I'm just saying that when that's a part of what you lead with, you have to understand that a lot of men are going to automatically, they're going to do one or two things. You're either going to have the crowd that is like, okay, cool, and they're going to try to get you to change your mind. You're going to get the one that's like that's going to tell you straight up, I can't do it and walk away, which is fine. And then, you know, you going to have a very minute minority that's going to be okay with that. Because most men are not doing, especially in our age range,
right?
Not doing this. So when I was like,
I think that plays more into it for me than anything. Like at our age range, to be,
I mean, to be honest, anything over 17, 18 is going to be hard to find men that are trying to do that, which is, again, and like I told her, I said, you only need one. So it's not like,
right, you should be even, this shouldn't be a conversation you having with a bunch of people.
Yeah, but I think it was just the thing that, no, I mean, like, you only need one person that's willing to do it, that's the right person, and you're fine. Oh. But, like, you only got to marry one person. But at the same time, like, understand that you might get it might take a lot of no's when you hear that. Yeah, so don't be disappointed with all of those no's. Understand that, like, if these are your values, this is your value system, stick to it. But just know, with values, with boundaries, comes a lot of people not going to stay, especially in that area. So that's where when I saw this, I'm like, I wonder if this was something that women, you know, are, and yeah, like on the posts, 90% of the women was like, nah. Well, they'd be like,
women like sex too.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like, I get women like sex. Women don't like being used for sex. Women don't like being manipulated and played around under the guise of a good thing for sex. That's where women get all up in arms and start talking about, wait a minute, we can't do this. It's not all about sex. Get to know me, yada, yada, yada. That's where that comes in. But women love sex just as much as the next person. Like,
absolutely.
Let's stop. Not you, but like, I need people to really wrap their brains around that while we even having some of these conversations. Like, women are humans.
But I think that's part of the problem, is that a lot of women enjoy it but don't know that it's okay to enjoy it. Like, still trying to figure out and fight through this whole, am I supposed to enjoy it? You know, which I absolutely get, especially like you said, like we talked about earlier, when you find out, or when your parents find out, it's not always the affirming conversation. So now, you know, you're warring. So yeah, I'm just saying that for out loud, like for people who are listening, like that. So I get that you're still trying to figure that out, but and that you also are struggling with or have to deal with this idea of, you know, when is the appropriate time to do it?
Yeah,
because like you said, like in times past, that, you know, I know that, you know, you might have thought that we were cool. This is going somewhere. It didn't happen. Like, you know, I get all of that. So.
And I think, again, and I know we can move on, but like, I honestly think that's a lot to do with, it has a lot to do with discipline as well, which is why I think I'm so reluctant to be like, yeah, I'm team abstinence after a certain point of age, because at a certain time, you should be able to exercise enough day-to-day discipline, situational discipline, where you don't need to put that type of restriction on you or your partner. that level of restriction on you or your partner. I would hope that at this stage in our lives, we would be able to have relationships and know how to govern ourselves in such a way that allows us the freedom to choose in moments within a certain time for however you want to do it for yourself, without just flat out saying, until we marry, no sex. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm depriving myself of this because of what could possibly happen on behalf of another person. Like there's got to be some self-discipline in place, some accountability for the decisions that we make and the people that we're making them with, so as to not restrict ourselves from the things that we enjoy, in the relationships that we enjoy, the encounters and the experiences that we enjoy, not just sexual, but just in general. You know how many people you possibly cutting off the experience of just enjoying their company because you're saying this one thing that, if given the opportunity to experience an organic relationship, you guys might decide mutually, we not don't do that. You know what I mean? Like that's not even something I want to do. But because you've opened up the door for that, you've now possibly missed out on a really great friend, a possibility to something, an opportunity to something else, because you have simply said, this isn't what's happening for me. This is not even a possibility for me. You know what I mean? So I'm like, that we have gotten very close-minded in our willingness to have just relationships with people.
Well, I think
we have to look at everything, not just romantic relationships, but just encounters and engaging with people, period. If it can't fit into a box, it doesn't have a place. And I don't know why we
well, I think part of the thing for a lot of people is that part of the sexual part of it, I don't use the word muddies, but messes up the understanding of what, using your analogy, what box this relationship is. And again, that's what I said, if that's your boundary, then I think that's acceptable. You just have to, again, just properly articulate it and stick to it, because.
And some folks don't want no more friends. So I might have spoke out of turn. Like some people ain't looking for no more friends. I got enough of those. So I mean, like I get that too. I've had homegirls be like, "Girl, I want no more damn friends. I got enough homies. Like I don't need no more." That's the problem now. I got too many damn homies. Same thing, guys. Yeah, so like I get that too. I do. Yeah. I get that too.
Yeah, I want somebody who we can do other things with. Like we can start as friends.
Yeah, but then if that is the specific purpose of you finding somebody else, you lead with, I don't want to do the thing that I'm looking for you to end up doing it with.
No, I think the point is when they do that is to say, like, I think really what it's really saying is like, I want to wait on that until, because this has a different place for me. And so again, I get it. I didn't say I did it, but I get it.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Last one. Oh, yes, this is my question from last week.
Oh, yeah, your follow-up.
So last week you all talked about this. I used to be the strong friend. I am no longer strong. I allow my community to love me at my weakness. So you all talked about this last week, and y'all, if y'all missed Ladies' Night last week, y'all missed a really good conversation that you can go back and listen to, or you can go back and listen to on Facebook, or go to SoundCloud, where we are now at.
We gotta add that.
And
I will do that tomorrow.
Yes, and now you can listen on SoundCloud. Oh, yeah, Scoop Show. Yeah, that's what it is. So, my question was, as I listened to you, Candace, and Shaquita, I wondered, as listening as a man, it seems like it's like, first of all, how do we help you not feel the need to be the strong one? With the way I thought in my mind, I thought, like, how do we save this? How do we save Superwoman? Or save you from the need to be Superwoman? Because what I find is a lot of ladies desire this. They want their community to love them at their weakest, but it's very difficult for them to trust the community when they're feeling weak. So, and sometimes I recognize that it is it's because, again, past trauma, or the community hasn't been consistent in being there. But what are some things as a man I can do to continue to encourage this, to continue as I'm seeing you do this, saying, hey, you can relax, you can chill. I'm already doing this. It's taken care of. Like, how do we continue to do that and nurture that? So as our women, you don't have to feel like your strength can be saved for when it's needed. I know that's a lot. I'm sorry.
No, it's not. It's a very good question. It is a lot, but it's a good lot. From the women that I know and from what I know of women, I don't know if there is a specific answer to that. And I say that because this is what we do. It's how we're wired. Specifically for Black women, it's how we're wired. We're nurturers. We are healers, saviors. We're creators. We get it done. It is, we don't know how to not. The best way to help us with that is to run interference, I would say. What you just said, I'm already doing that. I'm taking care of that. You know, the reassurance, adding security to a woman who's considered a strong anything in her community is priceless. Just showing up, doing what you say. If she knows that at the end of the day you're going to be there when because it's like a lot of the time it's too late. Like, you don't really know that we don't have it until like it's the breakdown, you know what I mean? And often our men are the ones who see that before the people, because the people can't see. We cannot, they will not see the breakdown. You know what I'm saying? Like, at all. So, you know, if you are the one who is blessed with her safety and the person that she feels that comfort with to break down, that's not the time for you to be like, well, I told you didn't need to be doing all that in the first place. Like, you know, I told you was too tight. Like, don't be that guy. Don't be the one more person that she should have had to keep it up for and waited till the shower to break down instead of at the end of the bed. Because now I gotta defend myself, defend the love that I've given that I didn't have to give. And yes, shame on me, but my intentions are good. Love me through that. You know what I mean? That is what helps her to be able to get to you prior to the breakdown. Because if you can hold me when I've fallen, I know I can come to you when I'm feeling lightheaded. Before I hit the deck, I know that you gonna have me, because I could be like, babe, this is too much. Okay, what can I do? What can I do? Now I trust that you know this part of me that is safe with you. You know what I'm trying to do, but I don't have it right now. So that I don't get back to the crumpled mess on the end of the bed. We can get me when I'm feeling a little woozy out here in these streets. And then you can come in and help me get where I need to be. That, I think, is what changes the game for women who wear that, who have that role in there, because it's not going away. It's who we are. The reason why we won't give it to the community so easy is because we're not used to anyone else doing it. No one else does it but me. So how do I know they can? And especially to this degree, because I got a lot of ish that I'm finna have to unpack on somebody. And they unpack it on me. I know the ish they dealing with because I'm the one that deals with it with them. So they can't handle this. You know what I mean? That is what we think about. Those are the things that we think they couldn't possibly handle, because that stuff that they're dealing with is already weighing on them. So they couldn't possibly deal with mine. You know what I mean? So like that. So to know that somebody is willing to take your stuff, and sometimes the community just hasn't been given an opportunity because we're always there. So it's not a matter of capacity. It's a matter of opportunity a lot of the times. And until we fall out unknowingly, because we done tried to never let them see us sweat, and we done sweated until we done heat stroked out here in front of the people, and then the community is who revives us. Do we then identify those people who got us? It's through those experiences that we identify the other strong friends. Like, we don't know. Yeah, we don't know until it's too late a lot of the
time. Okay.
Shanae.
Seriously. I completely
Yep.
agree. The running interference, meeting the need that she didn't realize is needed, the reassurance, words of affirmation, I got you, etc., and the consistency and actionables. Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Um, actually do it. Don't say you got it handled. We have to come back and do it. Only reinforces it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
And honestly, like we, even those women who know that, like, because I know a lot of men have women that have a specific way of doing things. They like it the way that I'm one of them women. I like it the way that I like it, and I need you to do it the way that I do it. And I don't want to have to come back and do it all over again. I had to break that. That is a work me. That is a when there is a directive that is directly related to us making some money, a profit, a goal, something that you have a skill set that you are supposed to have done this thing. And my recommendations or my requirements are within the skill set that we have. At home, when you're taking a load off, when someone is assisting you, when it is a extra, baby, thank you. It's done. Okay, the dishes done. Thank you. I don't care if you dry them with the towel out. If they're sitting on the rack, I'll get them in a thank you. Thank you. Thank you. You laid it out. I don't care if you just put it in the dish, you didn't put the water in it. It's less froze than it was 4 hours ago. Thank you. You know what I mean? Like I'm not tripping because those, that is the part that I can play in that, in allowing that help to happen because that is important to allow a person to help you where they can help you, how they can, and then show them later. Or, that important. But some stuff, just let it go. When you do it that way. Like, you know what I mean?
The one way you're going to go.
But when he's doing it, let it be done that way. And as long as it's get done, leave it alone. Because don't nobody care about it being done that way but you. Nobody gonna miss it being done that way but you. So leave it alone. Let's let it get done.
Yeah, that's real. I think one of the things that I've tried to do is one thing I've tried to like be more present without like not more present, but be more more proactive when I see stuff, especially things. And I'm like, oh, okay, so you're tired. Let me go take care of this. And I see over time the benefit of said doing thing because then it's like you start to see the relaxed posture, but it takes time. And I recognize, again, that if you've been doing something a certain way or you've been being superwoman for at work, you're used to doing this over this long period of time, that it does take time to unwind and let yourself settle in this place of rest. Because we're the same way. Like we're the same way about, other things. So it's not like this is like, yeah, I get it. So it's just trying to figure out how to to pick up on those cues, to just be proactive. For me, I'm like I'm usually the one that's the like between Jamie and I'm usually the one that it has to be done a certain way. That's usually me. That's usually me because I have I ain't gonna say I have OCD, but I got it's a little bit in there probably. That if it ain't done a certain way, I'm like so it's the same thing. It's trying to see, okay, what does this work? How do we marry this together? Because again, like you have things that you need, I have things that I need, and we got to figure out how to support each other in the stuff that we need. So it's definitely, I would say again to any man, just pay attention. Pay attention, ask questions, and then don't. The other thing that I've had to learn is do not be offended if you don't get the initial response that you were looking for. Because so a lot of times we're looking for affirmation, we're looking for the good job.
Oh.
Like, good job.
Yeah,
For some, you won't get that
mm-hmm.
because for some, they tie what you're doing to you want something. And so, like, oh, for example, he thinks if he buys me dinner, he gonna get some sex. So they'll let you buy you dinner and you ain't gonna get the sex. And you're mad because you didn't get what you thought you were going to get as the affirmation, as the attaboy to what you're doing. But
Yeah.
but if my motive all along, first of all, was just to get sex, then I shouldn't have bought dinner in the first place. But what you learn is over time, as you are consistently doing it, the response that you are looking for, you will get because she realizes that you're not doing it for the motive of trying to get something in return, but you legit are just trying to make life easier for her. You legit
Right.
trying to just make an environment, just like we want a peaceful environment. So, so you're legit trying to make a peaceful environment, make life easier for them, like pour into them, sow into them, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, that's a flower. Got it. So yeah, I just wondered if there was things that like as men we can get from that, because I think we
Yeah.
all of us, even beta males like Cliff Huxtable, want, want to see their partner's life easier and better.
Yeah. Yeah. Because when you get to that point of needing the community to love on you, that's a depleted space.
Mm-hmm.
That's a I am done. You know what I mean? And like none of us should be okay in that space. So I'm thankful that you asked that question. Was a really dope question to ask after that conversation, because I think we got pretty vulnerable in that conversation, is the three of us, as far as what that feels like and how we internalize those moments and how important it is when we finally do get that love. So to have that in-house first,
Mm-hmm.
to it's beautiful to be that vulnerable for your community, but to have that from the person that you are the most intimate with, the
Mm-hmm.
most in partnership with, is next level. That is goals. That is the stuff that we're talking about. That's the environment that allows a woman to operate in her highest level of femininity, to be able to be that that calm, that peace, that extra that you need, that men say is the epitome of womanhood. Like that's where that's created, in that space. So yeah, very good question. Did you have any other questions? I meant to ask you when you mentioned that you did you have any other questions about what we chatted about?
No, but just another comment. What I noticed about is when the three of you all were having that conversation, it seemed like when you were talking about the community coming in, it was a community of women, and that's what made me like, man, like nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
As a person, as like the three of you, all three of you, you, Candace, and Shaquita are all very dear to me. So if I know that something is wrong with one of you, like I've told them, like, listen, Chicago 2.5 hours. I'm on
my way. Yeah.
if something's going on, listen, I'm there. Like nobody's gonna bother my sister. So it's so to hear that was like, man, like, is it that in those moments we don't have a place? You don't expect, like, and I know that's not it, but in my mind it was like, do we not have a place in that moment? Because again, and sometimes that's fine. Because sometimes the community helping you is the community giving you space and getting everything up off of you. So that's fine. But just the natural inclination of the conversation was, when I need my community, I go to my girls. And so I was like, and again, I don't know if that was intentional or what, but it was just.
No, it was, in that moment, it was natural. But I think for the purpose of your question, it does become intentional. Our community, when we are weakest, when we are in our less than our best, is 9 times out of 10 going to be among women. Because, and I hope men that listen to this don't take this personally, but instead they take it as a point to kind of think about, really work with. we often have to explain a lot of our emotions. We have to baby step men through what our emotions feel, look, come from, how to respond to them. Men often, tears, oh my gosh, shut men down. Like they don't have the words, they just want to fight it, they want to fix it. Like what do I do? How do I make it stop? So like you like, who somebody messing with myself? Like men's first reaction is to protect, is to fight it, to remove the thing. But if the thing is inside of me, that's not where y'all's strong place is. Like that's generally not where y'all shine. And there's a group of men who can show up in those spaces and be there. But when you need someone to restore you, to pour into you, to revive you in the moment, no, you need to be able to look at your girl and be like, like, and she get it. Like, you don't have to give the thesis. You don't have to go into all of the play-by-play. You could be like, and those tears in your eye, like the glossy-eyed look, and the shoulders, and like she gets it, and she can show up and give you what you need. Like Candace mentioned when she was like, I didn't even have to say nothing. Like them being in the house, doing what needed to be done intuitively, taking care of me, feeding me, making sure I took the shower that I needed to take, because I ain't like those types of things, because we know those are the first things we neglect. Men don't always tune into that, like in the fact of the restoration part of when I'm at my weakest and I can't take care of me. When I can't take care of me, I can't walk you through what I need. Like I'm not taking care of me, so don't take care of me. So like it's and that has to be a really deep level of intimacy, even between a man and a woman, for him to be able to do that. And a really good example of that, I don't know how many men remember the episode in Insecure, even watched Insecure deep enough to remember when Tiffany was going through her postpartum after they had their baby, and she had taken off, rented a hotel. I think she drove somewhere and rented a hotel room, and they didn't know where she was. She dropped off the plane. Her husband, through that entire episode, was on her ass. Like he knew something was not right with her. He was trying to get in. He was trying to that man went out and found his wife. Like he showed up with her in her bathrobe looking crazy. He went to go get that woman. He knew something was wrong with her. They had a connection. Like none of us really got it, I don't even think, until that section in that series when she had that baby and they were going through, in that transition that they went through when she became human. Like all women watching that show got it. Whether you had a baby or not, whether you had been through it or not, she needed her sisters and she needed her man, and they showed up for her. That is the type of situation where the men, he had his place. He knew how to come in and be emotional with her. I got you. And he just held her like when he walked through the door. Like it makes me teary even remembering that scene and how he just held her, and like she needed all of them there, but like the way that she just melted into him, that was that connection that he had her. That is what men can do. If you tap into that for your woman, not all women, you know what I mean? Just yours. This is when it's okay to seclude this stuff for just your women, the ones that belong to your community. If you can tap into that and not run from that, then you too can be one that gets called on to help restore, to revive. But I can't help you through helping me. Like I can call you when I'm on the mend. You can come pat my back and rub me and bring me something to drink when I'm on the mend. But when I'm out, don't you sit outside. Let the sisters come get you when I'm ready. Like that's you just pray for me. That's what I need you to do. Yes, Jane. It was everything. It was everything. So beautiful.
And that's I hope, to your point, that men don't hear that and feel some kind of way about it. Like that's a reality. Like that's a real thing. If you're not ready for that moment, then let her call the girls and let them do what they do. And
because it's not about you. If you love her, it's about her in those moments. It's not about you feeling good. you're not the weak one right now. Like you don't need anything. You're like, it's not, what do you need? Like, that's the root of it. Like, what is it that you need other than a pat on the back for being here? Like, that's a participation trophy, and you're not participating. Like, just chill out. Sit down somewhere. Just, they put everybody out the room in the emergency room that ain't operating on the patient. If you don't have no real reason for being in the room, I don't care who you are to the patient. If you ain't helping, you got to go on the other side of this door, homie. Like you gotta go. Same thing.
That's good. Okay. All right. That's good.
Thank you for asking that question.
Yeah,
I hope I answered on behalf of Shaquita and Candace
in
the way that they do it.
I think they would be pleased. Yes. Yeah. All right. Let's see. Hold on. Okay, let me read this. Shanae says, I promise it is what you do in that moment that can either make her feel secure, bearing her soul to you, or constricting access to a certain part of her spirit. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was so good. Absolutely. Which is why I said I hope men are not offended by that. I think that's a good thing to learn. Just like again, there's no difference than when we have our moments and we need something. Like that's not a bad thing. So I think we have to honor that. And if we're not there, if we're not that person that in that moment she feels she needs, that in what I would call a non-storm moment, then learn what you need to learn. So
you can be the person.
Yeah. Time is it's game time. You ready? Like, oh, I know the play. Okay, I'm ready to go. Put me in, coach.
Yeah.
So don't be upset about it. Just learn what you need to do. It happens.
Yeah.
So good stuff. All right, you want to do your ad real quick?
Yeah. Which one we got queued up? The 3. Yeah. Okay.
Hey sugars, have you heard about the Blocked and Beautiful Braid Balm from Elegance by Design? The days of braids being weighed down by heavy products that don't hold are over. Blocked and Beautiful Braid Balm is perfect for box braids, updos, and the most intricate of braid styles. Let your creative juices flow, knowing Elegance by Design has your braids on lock. Order yours now at elegancebydesign.com.
Yes. elegancebydesign.com.
Yeah, I agree with you, Mike. Mike said thank you. Absolutely.
You're welcome.
Absolutely. All right, you want to get into this? Oh, hold on. Whoops. Make sure that you advertise with this. We have a special right now. If you want to take advantage of our $40 package, you can, where we will not only promote your business or service for 2 shows, but we will also promote it on our social media packages. So if you would like to advertise with us, you can contact us at globaldriveradio@gmail.com. globaldriveradio@gmail.com. Oh, she been on it. Yeah, she's on it. She been on it.
Thank you, sugar. Holla at me if you need that 5-star. I got you.
All right, you want to do this?
By the way,
introduce this topic.
Let's do it. All right. So, when this was one you shared, right? This was a combo you started for us. Okay. So, Wynn shared this little nugget, and this is what we're going to chat about tonight. You cannot get mad at your partner for expressing what upsets them, even if it isn't deep to you. It may be a serious matter to them. Genuine consideration is key. Okay, so tonight we're going to kind of dig into this. We're going to talk about what kind of mindset should we have when asked to handle the things our partner, when handling something our partners are asking us to change. And honestly, one of the comments that you made on the end of our last segment, it was kind of a good segue to this, especially when, like when you just said, if you want to be that person, I got that. Yes, good job. When you want to be that person, this is the time that you ask for that feedback. And when you can possibly find out something that you didn't know was important to you, and it is important to your person, and they're asking you to change that so that you could essentially be better for them. Doesn't necessarily have to be in the scenario that we recently spoke about, as far as it's all you got, you're completely out, but just in general, if your partner is asking you to make a change in some way or form, shape or form, how do we deal with that? What do we need to do to prepare ourselves to take action on those things? That's what we're going to talk about tonight.
That's what's up. Let's do it.
Yes. So, y'all know I'm all about team make it happen for your partner. I think that when you choose to do life with someone, there is a certain level of you that is given up, and then there is a certain level of you that you should be able to maintain. A lot of the times, I think when our partners ask us to start to make some shifts in the way that we do things as us, the individual, it can cause all kinds of anxiety, especially if the thing doesn't really resonate immediately. If it wasn't something that you expected to have to change at some point, if it wasn't something that others have been asked to change at some point or discuss, if it's a new thing, like what? Like a lot of the, or you don't have any experience with the change or the necessity of the change, it can be hard to understand the why behind it, and which then can cause us to be defensive. And now we're trying to protect it. This is me. Now, all of a sudden, these little things that under any problem, some other circumstances you wouldn't have really worried that much about. Now, all of a sudden, it's like a core, a part of who you are.
Everything's your core at that point.
Yeah, every 3 months, I always bought Jordans. When all you need to do is that, we're just trying to save a little coin because we're trying to do, you know what I mean? Like, I need us to be able to save a little bit differently. But now, all of a sudden, you make it like I'm attacking all your shoes. Like, hold on, bro. So now all of a sudden, we have to start really trying to compartmentalize the why and justify why these things are important. So that's what we're going to talk about. I think it's important I'm just going to start, have the conversation. When your partner says, hey, this thing, I would like it if this was done a little bit differently, or I'm not really good with this. I think our first question should be, okay, what makes you feel that way? Why, tell me about that. I think that should be an excavation point at that point. Like, we're going to start digging now. All right, tell me about that. Maybe not even why, because sometimes why is offensive to feel like, why? What you mean, why? Because I'm asking you to. Like, okay, so tell me more about that. At that point, we're having a conversation. There's a dialogue that's happening. And then when they tell you more about it, actually listen to it. Like, listen to it and see, are there more questions that should be asked there? Because there could be trying to open up in a way, share something with you that's triggering to them, that is now something that they feel comfortable enough to say, I think we're to a point where this could possibly matter to you the way that it might matter to me. Or it could matter to me if I just share this with you. So you being open to tell me more could be that door that's necessary to deepen that intimacy between you. So that's gonna be my first tip or my first thought on this, and then I'm asking you, Lynn, what you think. But it would definitely be to tell me more about that.
Let me first, before I do that response, like add to that. I think that's great, because I think a lot of times, like to the meme's point, if it's not important to you, we often are. It's very easy to dismiss it because it doesn't have an effect on us. But I think if your initial response is a clarifying questions, or it's a question to ask for more, to create more dialogue, what that does is that lowers our defenses down, the other person's defenses and yours, so that they, number one, can articulate why this is a change that's needed or desired for them. And for you, what it does is it puts us in a position where we can hear clearer, because now we're not defensive. So it's now we recognize that they're not attacking us as a person. They're not saying anything negative about who we are, but they're saying that this thing that's happening in our relationship, or this thing that you're doing in our relationship, sometimes is what you're doing, and that's fine, is harmful to me, or is triggering to me, or or you asking that one thing that is like, once you have this dialogue, it brings clarity. So maybe the person who's saying they want to change is misinterpreting whatever the action is.
Mm-hmm.
So now it's like, that's not at all what when I say that or do that, or
that's not even what it is. Yep.
It means this, and you like, oh, well, carry on. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I just needed to understand. Okay, whatever. Yeah.
My interpretation of what we're doing is off. So I think that's where that comes in. Mike says everyone has non-negotiable things they won't give up, and that's okay. Yeah, that's absolutely okay. Now, hopefully, those non-negotiable things have been discussed. Like if we're talking about marriage, pre-marriage, or
right.
And if so, yeah, absolutely, I definitely agree with that. The thing I would say, the second thing I would say is after you have those, ask those clarifying questions. You're having the dialogue. I think the thing that you need to do is you need to agree that whatever. That we're not going to make a decision until both of us agree. So
say it one more time. I was reading that comment. Say it one more time.
Don't make a decision, a final decision, until you both agree.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like this is what I want changed. Okay, why do you want to change? I want to change. I want this different because we need this, and this, and and this is what it does. Use your example. It's, we need to stop buying Jordans because we need to save more money. Because if we save more money, we can do this, and this is what we've said that we want to do. We want to buy a house, and you spending $400 every month for Jordans is not helping us reach said goal.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree? Yes, I agree. Or no, okay, then so do you agree to do that? Yes. Or if you don't agree, then okay, no, I don't agree. So let's continue to have the discussion about if you don't want to stop buying Jordans, what else can we do that we both can agree to? Because the end goal is that we want to buy a house in 6 months, and we need to save money in order for the down payment. Right. So you have to keep going and keep having the conversation until you both fully agree, which means you cannot. I'm about to say it now. You can't punk out of the conversation. Yeah, I said that.
Yep.
Yeah, you can't punk out of the conversation. You can't shut down. You can't just agree so they'll shut up. You can't just let them win. Even what I mean. Like you both have to be completely committed to whatever the outcome is, whatever the agreed upon solution is.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would, or there has to be some understanding had about what we're going to do next. There's got to be an agreement and understanding made on our next moves, or else there's going to be there's going to be resentment. There's going to build. Someone's going to leave it feeling unheard or forced or ignored. Something's going to fester within that exchange that is not going to be conducive to healthy after the fact. I completely agree with that. There's no shutdowns that can happen when someone comes and says this thing something's got to change. Something's got to give. There's got to be a give somewhere, some kind of way. When one person has said, when someone has said that, because there's only two people involved. That's kind of what throws me about these kinds of conversations. I always wonder who else are we. When you come into a relationship, that whole point is to work with that person. It's not just hanging out with the person for a long, long time. Like that, I don't understand why people feel as though we can come into relationship, like literally live life with someone, but then not expect to have to make any adjustments to who your individual self was now that you're a part of a partnership. That is unrealistic. So like I don't understand.
I know multiple reasons. There's nothing wrong with me, so why do I have to change? These are the things I hear. There's nothing.
Change doesn't necessarily occur when something's wrong.
Thank you, and that's the problem. Yeah. Number one, like just because we're changing doesn't mean something wrong. It just means it doesn't fit in this current thing that we're trying to do. Like we're flowing this way. and what you're doing is causing us to go this way. So it doesn't mean like in that instance it's wrong, but like it just doesn't fit what we're doing. So no, it might not be anything wrong. It's just not the best. It's not good for us right now. So it's okay to not do it. Nothing wrong with you. You good?
Yeah. If it was just you, but we're we. And this thing for we to
listen, most of the time, anyway, as you say, most of the time the thing ain't good for you, but that's another subject.
It was just you were existing. Like, I don't know, like that's the whole thing. If we're getting into a relationship for I don't know, maybe that's what it is. Like maybe that some of us get into relationship for next level, for moving through phases. We're going to move this, like we're going to do these things together. Like if I just want to have a really good life, I can have a really good life by myself. Like I could have a really good life by myself. But when I choose to go in partnership with someone, in relationship with someone, that's a whole new game in front of me. That's a whole new playing field. That's a whole new experience table. Like we done leveled up when we do relationship stuff. We don't do what we did single as relationship in relationship. So to me, the thought that as is what you get. No, I got as is with the understanding that we were moving through, like we were in progress, like we, not just you. Not we are in progress. I'm with you because there's something in you that is going to help grow me, transform me. I got to be willing to allow you to come in and show me what's needed in me to move through this next phase, and vice versa. Like that, we have enough right now that's workable. Like I'm willing, I can do my thing with it. We can do our thing with it. Like we can kill it. It's like us, me and you together, bruh. Like we us, like in any other thing that we do. You matching anything else up. You're looking for compatibility so that you can win at whatever it is that you're doing. Why get in a relationship to sit? Like your solo, you ain't gonna get you where we gonna go. Like it's
not how it works.
It's not how that works. It's just not how that works.
And it definitely doesn't. Like it might work in the beginning, but the first shift in life, it doesn't work. Like because again, you have more. And I'm gonna use it like you have more weight now. So there's more weight that you have to carry. So you can't just make decisions like it's just you anymore. You can't move like it's just you anymore.
You got to distribute it evenly.
You have to figure out, how to distribute it evenly, how to look longer term. Because you can, like I always tell people, like, I could recover a lot faster when it was me by myself. So like people like, why you like several years, like why you want to be sick? Because I need to figure this out by myself. And if I'm trying to figure this out right now by myself, I can make some decisions for myself that I can't make if I've got a partner that I need to care for too, because then they become just as much of a priority. So let me go back to Mike's, and then I'm gonna come. Mike asked, "What if your person doesn't want to? What if your person doesn't want to change or give that thing up?" Good question.
I think a lot of the times, for me, it would depend a lot on what that thing is. How important is it to me, and why won't it be given up? What is the thing that is so attached? Why is it important to you? Because I can't want you to care about my why if I'm not willing to at least listen to yours, entertain yours, and really give it thought. So if at the end of the day, if after hearing your why and weighing that against my why, if there's no compromise, if you are just stuck, there's no changing this thing. I'm not willing to accommodate your why in any way. Depending on how deep that thing runs and if it triggers other things, then I think it's only fair that person should be allowed to be asked to. I don't think I want to do this anymore.
I want to do this more. Yeah. As you say, I think it depends on what it is, because I could think for me on an extreme end, is like the time I was asked to not preach anymore. Yeah. Like that was just that's extreme. So for me, to ask that for me is a bigger deal than it might be. For somebody that's my vocation. So this is a part of my vocation, as opposed to somebody who is not, to something that is not, like, don't stay out to bowling till 3:00 in the morning. Like know what I mean? Now, if I was a professional bowler, that's a different story. But you know what I mean? So
Right.
it depends on what it is. I would say, to your point, number one, I'd want to know what it is. Still want to know why. Like if this legit is a core value thing, you know, convert your faith. You know, stop talking to your family. Like if they, you know what I mean, like some core stuff, then to your point, like we probably don't need to be in a relationship. But outside of that, those types of core value things, then now I need to look at. Really need to dig into the why. And let's be honest, there are some things that a person is not going to give. There are times that there are certain things that a person is not going to give up. That you just have to let them ride out, like not ride out, leave the relationship, but like ride out until they recognize that it needs to be changed.
Mhm.
Because the other part of this is we can say all day long we want somebody to change, but to the point, if they refuse to change,
Mhm.
even with the good why, I can't change them. But in most healthy situations, I'm trying to make sure I'm thinking through what I'm saying. Like the other person, there should be some compromise.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Because without it, there's going to be additional problems added to that. This is going to snowball bigger than just this one thing.
yeah. Because
If it goes overlooked, if it's shrugged off, this is going to come up much bigger. It's going to create a very specific thing now.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Because even to my point earlier about being asked to not preach anymore, like I was like, okay, I'm not doing that. However, what I will do is, you know, for the next year, I won't take travel. Like I won't travel or go any place. I have to stay the night and be gone from the, like. So there was at least an understanding of the why that there was a move to, you know, and then at that point now you got to figure out what you're gonna do. But yeah, some stuff is not gonna do that. So Anthony said sometimes people get too comfortable and not want to change. Change requires work.
Yep, it does.
Requires an endeavor. Yeah, sure it does. Okay. I had to. In this instance, work,
You slid it in too. I wasn't even ready for that.
in this instance, work is the appropriate word. Okay.
Yes.
Change
In
does
most instances, work is the appropriate word.
change requires work. It requires a lot of work, a lot of discipline, a lot of change of discipline and habits and understanding. And yeah, I mean, it does. It does. It absolutely does. Absolutely. And a lot of times we don't want to do that. Change requires a lot. The change requires a lot of work. It does. It absolutely does. Especially when it's something that you find like that has been embedded. Like there are certain things that have been embedded into our minds as right. So now that when those things get, you know, like challenged, that it's a lot of work. You got to you know, I told somebody, it's like, you know, I feel like that a lot of times, like, for example, when I'm talking about, even when I'm like teaching and preaching to people, like I realize I am having to undo 400 years of being taught a certain way. So to now have to undo that is going to take time. It's going to take repetition. It's going to take work. It's going to take, you know, consistent reinforcement of them seeing how this thing that we're asking people to change brings them into something that's better. So it does. Sometimes it takes a lot of work, a lot of time.
I think the thing that always concerns me with this in relationships is I see how do I want to say this? I don't know. It depends. I guess that's a level of maturity that has to be had. That maybe I'm giving a lot of assumptions that people would have when going into relationship. So in that way, I guess you're right. I just think we're not truly thinking through what saying no does to the relationship overall. Like there's so many other questions that get brought into your partner's mind when your person says, I'm not willing to try for you.
Mm-hmm.
because you've asked, because you know, go through all of the rigmarole of getting vulnerable, sharing the thing, giving the why, going through the most, you know, showing all the, and then you just be like, okay, I appreciate that, but no, I'm good. That's it. Like, even if that person accepts it in the moment and says, okay, well, we'll try and figure it out, and does like what you did, you know, because you can't force a person to change. But then to put yourself in that position and then still go back into that relationship knowing that this person is essentially shut your need down, because that's essentially what that is. They've denied your need. You've expressed the need. You said, nah, this is what and they're, nah, I'm good on that. So this is your person who's flat out said, I'm good on you in this regard. What is that? How is that not supposed to affect the other facets of the relationship prior to said conversation?
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
What are you holding on to about this thing that is so much more important than my feelings, considering it's me and you doing this?
Yep.
So I always, that's kind of what I think about when you know, not at all coming from Mike, but people ask this question all the time about their core and the things that just are, that's me. And, you know, I ain't changed this. I've always been, you met me this way. Like those types of things, it always makes me, I always get concerned when I hear that is the initial response to a partner, not a regular person, not a stranger, not a coworker, not a like, but we make, but almost that's a good comparison, because in professional environments, we will adjust, we will pay for training, we will go extra hours, we will read books and take courses and do all of the things, go to seminars and listen to conferences and listen to audio tape podcasts, all those things to shift and change and be better and do the thing for a temporary job that person could snatch at any point after you've done all of this work that you did not want to do, only if not for that job and they told you to. But the person that you say you love, you want to do life with, you would die for, you lay it all down for, baby, you my world, you my sun, you my moon, you my stars, until you tell me to do something that I don't want to do. And then I'm good.
Yeah, but I think that goes back to also the idea of when we do that, typically it's tied to some form of outcome. Like we're able to see in the job perspective, we're able to see that if I do this, this leads to more money. Whereas in our relationship, we don't tie that to that. You know, we're not tying that to that same outcome, something that's going to make our lives better, make our relationship better. We see that as a violation against ourselves, instead of viewing it as that there is some type of compensatory reaction or response that's going to come that's going to make us, including me, better. So we don't do that. We don't mentally make that leap. It's literally, you are trying to change who I am, and you're trying to force me to do something that I don't want to do, when again, that's not what the person is trying to do.
That's a very unfortunate perspective.
Yeah, it's a very unfortunate. How many years have I been saying this? The same sentence I'm about to say. The problem with most relationships always comes down to selfishness versus selflessness. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, most of the stuff is, I would rather be selfish and hold on to my way, my opinion, my want, my desire, versus to humble ourselves and be selfless in our relationships. And when we do that,
ooh, Shanae, I'm about to put that on the screen. Put it on. There you go.
Then how are women expected to submit instinctively if we can't see the outcome, but men have such a hard time even considering change? Well, that's the part of the problem. So part of the problem is that as men who expect women to submit instinctively, think that the outcome is something that they can see, that you're going to get XYZ for doing this, not realize, which is why now most women are saying, and it usually was tied to some form of compensation, some type of financial. So now that a woman don't need your financial compensation, what men are doing is trying to force submission, because now I can't just dangle this money over your head and saying that, listen, well, I got money. Well, I don't need your money now. So now it's all y'all rebellious, y'all high value, y'all this. No, I just need something else. Like there needs to be something. If I'm going to submit as a woman, if I'm going to submit to you as your wife, then it's going to be because I recognize that there is something that is there, that there's an actual covering for me. So if you provide a covering, I can I always say this, listen, when it rains, nobody has to look. Like we're not, you find the first covering and you run. If you're not a covering, she can't come. Okay. So give her something to submit to, and you never have to ask the question of her to submit.
Yeah. I'm glad she asked that question though, because that is kind of where it it's a lot of the unknowns out there for us. We get a lot of right, sis. Like I said, I'm gonna throw something, like there's a lot of understoods that are supposed to be made on behalf of women. We're just supposed to trust. We're just supposed to hold on, and he gonna figure it out, and he, love him as like all those things. And that's essentially like, not only is it unrealistic, it's just flat out unfair.
It's a lie.
Yeah, it's a lot, but it's just like, how does that even make sense? Like, it just does not make sense, because when we want to like this, these kinds of questions, this mean to me as a woman is not based on something simple like, I need you to stop. I need you to pick your socks up. Like, you know what I mean? That those types of things. Like right now, when we're having these conversations about shifts and changes, like specifically women, I don't really know all the questions that men are asking when I'm not being asked these types of questions by various men. But, when I listen to women ask these types of questions, it's things like, we need to get better at communicating. I need you to start to work on those things that are keeping you from being able to communicate. Maybe we need to see therapy. Maybe we need therapy. You need to talk to somebody about these things, because I see that there's some stuff holding you back. Like the work that needs to be done within a person to help them move through to a next level. You know what I mean? Like those things that help you relate better, that help you gain levels of intimacy. If you are being held back by something, like your person can honestly see those things a lot of the times differently, deeper than the people that you work with, the people that you see every once in a while. You know what I mean? So if you're going to trust a person to be your person, you also have to trust that they can see things that need correction differently, deeper first, as opposed to someone else. And I think I don't know. I could go on and on about this. It's just one of those things that, like, I just don't understand how we take that. We want to be one until the one has to shift to become one. You know what I mean? Like, you don't need to hold the same things that you held on to as a single person, as a partnership now. What is that person there for if you still have to do all the things the same way that you did them without them?
Yeah. Yep. I think for me, the shift was realizing that my ability to lead is not tied to my ability to so how do I explain this? My ability to lead and to be effective as a leader is not tied to my ability to force something to happen, but it's tied to my ability to serve something to happen.
Because leaders are servants.
So when I have, even as I'm doing something, or even as I'm, I use the word directing something, it's done from a servant's heart, a servant's perspective, and I'm asking questions.
Yeah.
Did I do this right? What did you think when I did this? This was I was trying. Did I do that good? What do you think about this? What did you see that, or just sometimes just shutting the hell up and listening to what's being, you know what I mean? Like, so it's instead of feeling the need to force it or like to use my power, like my physical power, my mental power, but it's like, okay, I need to let me humble myself. Let me be a servant. Let me listen. Let me ask questions. Let me, let me guide. Let me give space. Let me sometimes, even if I disagree, say, okay, let's try it this way. Like those for me were the huge things that made the jump from I don't know what
So good.
but what I also found in that was all of this energy, this tiredness that I feel.
Mm.
I don't feel tired because now, even
Mhm.
though, as I said a couple of weeks ago, like it just hit me a couple of weeks ago. I think I posted. I said I realized as a man that there is no space in my life. There's no room I walk into that I am not a leader.
You're not a leader. Yep.
And it just clicked. It just maybe a month ago clicked in my head, but that leadership looks different and
And
doesn't
you're
feel as heavy because now, even though I'm leading, I don't feel like I'm carrying everything. So I've learned to say, I can't do that, or this person got to handle that, or can you?
Mhm.
And even this, I'm quick to be like, hey, Q, can you do this? Can we?
Mhm.
What you think about this? Like now, it's not all resting on me.
Yep.
Because now I'm serving, and now my job becomes, how do I serve you? How do I serve you? How do I serve you? How do I touch you? How do I do this? How do I do that? And so now I don't have to do, and things can move without me even having to touch it because it's not waiting on me anymore.
Yeah. And in the realm of the relationship, since you gave us as an example, it's not a romantic relationship, but there's absolutely a leader and a partnership that we have that
Absolutely.
allows this to do what it does and run the way that it runs. But without you being willing to hear what I need, whether it be as your co-host or as us being partners in this, I don't like it when this happens this way. Like this, this gotta, because we've had some of those things, not necessarily, just if it's from our imagery to whatever, like, but if you were not willing to hear that whether you want to take it as correction or feedback or whatever it is, I would not feel as confident as your partner, and I would not show up the way that I do for you because I wouldn't feel like I was a partner. I would feel like I was working for you and not with you.
Yep.
And we wouldn't do what we do if that were the case.
Yep.
So the harmony happens because we work together and we're willing to take feedback from each other, because it works the same way. It's not just me. It's not just me saying when I don't like it. Like we've had conversations where there's something that I need to change as well. Like he's able to correct me and say, hey, yeah, a little too bad, so, and we can have those conversations, and I understand it because I know where it's coming from. Right. I know the role that he plays in this relationship and vice versa. Right. And that allows us to be able to come back, bring it back to the middle, and we can have what we have here. It's the same thing. It's the same thing, and I think that it's easy when the goal is grow, when the goal is to get there together. To get to said goal, we've understood what it is. We've laid out our plan. If things need to change in progress, we're willing to work together to make those shifts so that we can continue moving forward to what it is we got to do. Same thing in relationships.
Yep. And now change becomes about change, because at that point, change becomes about you're seeing something I don't see. Mm-hmm. And because I trust your vision, because I trust your eyes, I'm more willing to change. And because here's another part, especially from a male perspective, because I am secure in who I am, I can now listen to what you're saying, and it doesn't make me feel like I'm any less of a man, I'm any less of a leader, I'm any less of a son. Like, I can hear that. I could take the criticisms, anything else. I'm like, man, it might not have felt good, but all right, what do I need to change? What do I need to adjust? And that comes with understanding, again, who you are, and understanding, again, like we're on the same page. We on the same team. We fighting them. It's me and you versus them. It's not me versus you. So yeah, it takes it's some humility in there, boy.
Yeah.
But it's good.
But you choose these people. You aren't just assigned your partner. Like you chose this person.
Maybe that's part of the problem right there. You ain't choosing somebody, you just take who choose you or something. Maybe that's part of the problem. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of folks out there that's just taking what they can get. So it's the best I can do done, girl. So I just stuck with them.
I don't like it.
So,
I'm like, I don't like it. I don't like that. No, I don't like that.
I asked somebody today. I was telling them, I was like, so you basically what you're saying is you don't like this person. No, I really don't. So why are we having a conversation? Why are we in a relationship? That's a good question. Thank you for asking that. I'm like, yeah, because
Why are you paying me to ask you this simple ass question?
you don't like them. Like, move on with your life.
Yeah.
You free.
People get in these situations for all kinds of different, you know what I mean? They get convenience.
By having kids, you don't even like him. Why are you
don't
considering
like
having
this
kids with this person? What are you talking about? I ain't never heard nobody ask me that. Well, I'm sorry to hear that, honey, because there ain't nowhere in the world I'm about to be with somebody who I don't like.
You must like you have to. Love comes later. Love has no foundation if there's not like. So you playing with yourself. You playing in your own face. If you out here cohabitating, spending all this time, this precious time with people that you don't even like. Like when you hear their voice, you rolling your eyes and you're sucking your teeth and your shoulders tight and you can't relax and you're looking over your girl, bruh, stop that. Stop it. Trust me. I promise you.
Let it go.
It's better to do it alone. You are blocking your real boo.
I was gonna say you messing up with the person who really
placeholder. Like, what are you doing? What are you doing?
Yep.
Life is too short.
Yep.
Too short.
Well, my favorite is like I'm only with them. Like I don't like them, but I like what they have. I like that they got money. I like how their looks. It's like, but you don't like them. Like,
and you don't like you.
You don't.
And you really don't like you. If the only thing that's keeping you tied to a whole other person is the things that they have and that they can provide to you, you also don't like you. What are you saying about you?
You can be bothered.
This is it. That you have to settle for things, trinkets, baubles, shiny things. And because you could have that and love. You could have all those things and the person that's for you. Imagine that.
Absolutely. All right, we gotta go. We gotta go.
This was good.
Real good.
I missed you, bro. You know, we needed the girl time, but I missed you.
Yeah, we had 3 hours. We keep going.
And could, okay?
Yes.
Could.
Yeah, we gotta talk. So I've been thinking, and this is just for the people.
Okay.
I've been thinking, you think it's about time for us to do another forum or something?
Yeah. You know I'm down. You know I love a good forum. You know, and we had a blast.
Yeah.
The last time.
I think it's time might be time for us to break out some forums. So I've been chewing on that for a couple of days now.
You mean in person type situation?
In person. Yeah, in person.
You know I love a good
session.
We can get all up close and personal like. Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. We're throwing it out there. So all right. Final words. What you got?
This was a really good show. Start to finish, very good conversations. I enjoyed y'all. The comment section, absolutely. And yeah, if you guys did not watch the last 2 week shows, I encourage you to go back. Go back. The brothers had some really, really good conversation. I know that me and the girls had some. We've still been like throughout the last couple of days. I know Candace and I have chatted a few times on some of the topics that we talked about last week. It was good. It was vulnerable. It was honest. It was hilarious, and it was just a really good conversation. And tonight's conversation was perfect as a trailer to that. So I'm excited for where we are going to continue to take our chats. I'm also going to put a shout out to the inbox. I'm gonna need y'all to continue to inbox us with your questions, your memes, and conversation starters. We love it when you share something with us along with your take on it. And what do y'all think? Like, ask your people what they think. Like, please DM us. Let us know what it is that you want to talk about. Tags don't always work. I know for me, I don't know about for when. Like when you tag me in a post that's got like 1.3 thousand comments on it, I'm not gonna be able to find this. It's like it ain't gonna really happen. I'm not gonna see what you said. It's not gonna go. It ain't gonna let me get to it. So just copy link, share it to me with your info so we can talk about it as opposed to that's the only thing that I'd ask for me personally if you do that. But other than that, please continue. We've gotten some great conversations and they come from you guys. They absolutely come from you and the way that you are out here scouring these internet streets and pages and conversations. So yes, please continue to share because it is through you that we get to dig in and have these good conversations.
I agree.
Straight out the inbox.
Yeah, I was gonna say you want to. Yeah, so if you see that tag, that's what that's for.
Yep.
It's because you all sent us sent it to us. So.
And if you notice, we don't tag you. We don't necessarily have to put you out there or nothing like that. If you want to be anonymous with your questions or comments or topics, you are absolutely welcome to do that.
Mm-hmm. We are okay with that. All right. I don't think I have anything else. Good show. Of course, as always, thank you. I appreciate you. And like I told you earlier, I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
I was proud. I'm so proud.
I know you provide the stage. I just show up and do my thing.
Oh, by the way, also if y'all don't know, we are on SoundCloud too. I put the link in the comments. If you all want to ever go back and listen to this on audio, excuse me, you can do that on SoundCloud. Just find The Scoop Show on SoundCloud. Follow the page, and yeah, and you can check us out there.
Tap in.
I don't have anything else. My voice is going out. So yeah, I'm done for the night. So y'all have a good night. We'll see.
Thank you, sis.
We will see y'all next week.
Thank you, Amy.
All right. I don't know what's wrong with the music, so I'm not about to worry about it.
Okay.
So we'll see y'all next week.
Good night, y'all.